All right, how we doing, guys? How's everything? We're just getting everything online here. We've got another topic that I'm going to be talking about today. For whatever reason, unfortunately, with Facebook today, it is not allowing me to. Uh, it's not allowing me to use my page. I actually intended to start today with utilizing my Project Fresh business page. And let me go ahead and start with the introduction. Hey guys, this is Ryan Sanders with Project Fresh. Project Fresh is dedicated to bringing you fitness, nutrition, and overall lifestyle goals, habits, strategies to help you stay nice and healthy and optimized for whatever it is that's most important to you. I focus on your lifestyle, not your life. If we cultivate and create a lifestyle that is conducive to a well-rounded and healthy body and mind, will have positive impact on our relationships and our goals and everything else we're looking to do. So that's the whole presence of what Project Fresh is. Today's topic, it's coming up quite a lot. I'm also on Instagram. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at Elevate Your Fresh. It's all one word, Elevate Your Fresh on Instagram. I will be moving this video from my personal page to my Project Fresh page on Facebook once Facebook starts to cooperate again. But today's topic, I've got my few points here. It looks like I've got 7 roughly for today. Today's topic is when you have no access to equipment. So I've been teaching classes online. All 3 sites that I train at, unfortunately, have been closed due to the coronavirus, COVID-19, for good reason, precautionary measures. People need to make sure that they take care of their health to avoid the virus, in this case, because of how quickly it's spread. We've seen the precautionary measures take place that we have in government and business. Okay, I think everybody's pretty aware of that. Whatever your news channel is, we might even be tired of hearing about it by now, but just remember to take those precautionary health measures per the CDC and World Health Organization, WHO. So today's particular topic, when you have no access to equipment. Now, I want to make a couple of defining terms. I will always do this, I think, or at least 80 to 90% of the time, I'm going to give some defining terms. I'm always going to try to do my best to keep my conversation. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Thanks for joining the call. Instagram. I see a few folks joining in. Minister Hare, how you doing on Facebook? I'm going to define at least 1 or 2 terms, and what I'm talking about. In the topic I'm talking about today is fitness. Monday I talked about nutrition. So 2 terms, equipment. I'm not going to sit here and assume that everybody knows what I'm talking about as far as gym equipment, particularly barbells, dumbbells, plates, weighted plates, machines, anything that's going to produce or provide resistance over 50 pounds. The other item that I think is very important is the term hypertrophy. Now, straight out the textbook, it just basically refers to muscular enlargement resulting from training, primarily in relation to or owing to an increase in the cross-sectional area of the existing muscle fibers. And we know, based on all the research as well as just seeing how the body works, that the cross-sectional area of the muscle is in correlation to strength. So the bigger my bicep is, technically, the more I should be able to do a curl through my elbow, a bicep curl, or vice versa, the tricep group. My angle isn't very good, but let's just say magically I'm doing a tricep extension this way. If physics work that way, the more weight I have in my hand, the more theoretically I should be able to, or if I want to step back, the more I should be able to theoretically do a tricep extension. So just a quick technical term, hypertrophy, and what that means. Size of muscle is related to, or excuse me, strength of muscle is correlatively related to the cross-sectional area size of the muscle. Okay, got the technical stuff out of the way. So I'm going to consult you again to make sure that you always check in with your doctor. It's very important to do so. The reason why in this particular case is because any kind of strength or resistance training does put or does tax the heart. It will tax the heart. And what I mean by that is it's going to get your heart going. You're going to see an increase in heart rate. So if there are any concerns related to your heart as far as an elevated heart rate, any health concerns of any kinds, that's a very important thing to keep in mind. Always consult your doctor first. Okay, got those things out of the way. Very important. All right, Ryan, so my gym's closed, and I put a question in the Facebook group. So if you see that, please answer it. I'd like to hear how things are looking for everybody. Has your gym closed down, or are you able to still go? I know some folks that are still mostly in private settings going to gyms, maybe one-on-one or one-on-threes. With social distancing, I believe that's the that's the specific terminology we're supposed to use. 7 feet apart, 6-7 feet apart. Is your gym closed? Yes, Ryan, my gym is closed. Okay, how can I produce resistance in the case of hypertrophy? How can I add enough weight to my body, to whatever lifts I'm doing, to create enough resistance within the muscle fibers to essentially get them to break down and then restore? I'll be talking about rest in another topic. I'm not going to talk about how hypertrophy actually happens in the muscles. We're just going to assume that you lift some weights, you go to sleep, and you magically get bigger over the course of time, which is generally the case, but not necessarily the technical way to say it. So what do I do first? If I have access to nothing, what's my first step? What's the best I can do? Well, if you're getting into a resistance training regimen to start, you want to start with calisthenics with your body. Generally, in the first 3 to 4 weeks, higher reps and lower weight is going to be really important because it's not so much about the muscles. It's actually about the neurological system. So the neurons, the motor neurons getting used to firing in patterns that are correct for exercise. So, for example, we'll just do a really, really quick example. Let me step back here. So if I'm doing a squat, a very common mistake in squats is for the knees to bend forward first, projecting over the toes, and then whatever's left, I start to sit down, and that puts a large amount of pressure through the quadricep and patellar tendon in the knee, as well as in the Achilles. Hello, basketball players. And over time, if you start to load the legs with that improper form, you're going to get strains, pains, and possibly tears, and that's where problems start to take place. So first and foremost, I need to know that my hips need to flex first, and then my knees, and then I can start to get into my squat position where I'm correctly loading my quadricep group, my hamstring group, and my glute, aka butt muscle group, okay? Getting into that, press them through the heels, coming back up to the top. So I wanted to just quickly provide an example of a common exercise and incorrect form versus proper form. Now, calisthenics is just doing basically air squats or sitting on the wall air chairs. That's isometric, which I'll get to here in a second. But if you're getting started, repetition is going to be your best ally because you need to train the muscle memory, meaning your mind-body connection needs to be conditioned first before you start to increase the load. So once you've got that aspect of load and your muscle memory has been taken care of, and you're starting to properly do multiple reps and sets of all of the possible exercises that one could do, now you can start to add load. And by more load, I mean resistance. Now, we talked about not having access to the gym. So what can I bring into the situation that can help me provide additional resistance? We're going to first start with items around the house, one of my favorites. Everybody has one of these. I've had this backpack for way too long, but because they built it well, I hold on to it. So if I happen to have stacks of paper, if I happen to have some sand outside with some plastic bags, if I happen to have, everybody has these, some form or another of bags. If you're here in California, you've seen that they're now charging you for these because of usage. If you've got something that you can hold rocks, pea gravel, sand, anything that will produce some good resistance for you, you can put that into a backpack and create some resistance. I have a sandbag around here somewhere. Oh, I think it's outside. At one point in time, I had one of my friends who was working with the FAA. They had little sand pits or sand piles that they used for some of their work. He filled that thing to the brim, and I'm pretty sure it was at least 40 pounds. It's pretty heavy. You can use something like that to that effect to create some resistance. Also, for upper body, some stuff that I really like is towels. So if I'm sideways and I want to do a row, in this case addressing the mid part of the back, I can create resistance by first getting my hands to separate as far as possible. That's going to get through the shoulders and the upper back, and then as I row my elbows back, I can create some resistance through the shoulder blades in those muscle groups. So large towels, or if I go ahead and make a quick adjustment here, I'm gonna get a better camera here soon. We'll get things live, but let me just go ahead. In the case of bicep curls, I could take my longer towel here, and my foot's trapping it. And I have the option to do a bicep curl where the tension of a towel, for the most part, unless you're the Hulk, you're probably not going to rip your towel, but you can create some substantial resistance by just holding in place and squeezing. I'd recommend 6 seconds to start. As you progress and get stronger, you can up it to 8, maybe 10 at the most. But 6 is a really good number, I think, because it's about progressively squeezing that bicep. So as I really start to feel the fatigue, I want to continue to really pull up on that towel so I can get some resistance through my forearm, through the elbow, into the bicep. And with isometrics, which is my next point of today's topic, isometric is one of 3 different modes of movement. That would be probably the best way to describe it. But think of ISO. Anytime you hear ISO, hold. It's a hold movement. So I'm holding the position in place, and over time, that's going to get harder again. Think about air chair. Think about going down into a push-up and holding in place. Those are 2 different examples of an isometric workout. Carmen, what's up? I meant to say hello to Kristen. How you ladies doing? Hope you're well. So those would be examples of isometrics. Now, over time, the training in an isometric situation is going to shift from muscle building to endurance. There's going to be a point where the body is going to start to get efficient. Push-ups, for example, is a really good example. So let's say I get good at doing 3 sets of 8 push-ups, and then 10, and then 12, and so on. After about 15 to 20, your body's no longer training for muscle growth. You will see some gains, but after a while, you're now training for endurance rather than building muscle. So that means you're going to have to include additional resistance. In the case of a push-up, you could move to isometrics, where you come down into that push-up position, hold yourself in place. Now, if push-ups are hard for you on the floor, you might want to start your body at an incline first. So a really good place to do that is on a couch or a counter. Pad the hands with some kind of towel so you're comfortable, and then slowly work your way to, say, a chair or a table or a low bench or an ottoman or something, and then eventually to the floor where you're modifying on your knees. I do not call them lady push-ups at all. Modified push-ups or regular push-ups. There's no such thing as lady push-ups, because I see dudes on their knees that don't have the strength through the pectorals to be able to do a regular push-up, and that's totally fine. No such thing as lady push-ups, okay? So I hope that's cool. I'm actually going to have a special note for the ladies here in a second, since it is International Women's Month, and we'll have a particular quick topic for the ladies here shortly. What's up, Edward, Alfonso, Yvonne? Nice to see you all. Welcome to my Facebook talk today. Just talking about the topic of when you have no access to equipment, because gyms have been closing due to the coronavirus. So I was just talking about isometric training and how we can progress our resistance training from household items like backpacks, weighted bags, different things like that. I guess if you want to pick up your cat, child, or dog, that could provide some extra resistance for you. I've had a few people this week on live trainings with their dogs, like up in their face, licking them profusely. My one client has this chocolate lab that is just like, he does not give up. He was in my client's face for the whole 50 minutes of workout. It was really funny. And then he closed him out the door and it's like, no dog now. That's kind of sad. But anyway, random story. Whatever you decide to use for resistance around the house, there's plenty of options for you to do so. And we're going to continue on with the progression. So items around the house, isometric meaning hold. I'm down in my push-up, I'm holding. I'm down in my squat, and I'm holding in place. Make sure my mechanics are correct. I'm getting close to the desired time for today, so I'll make sure to wrap this up. The next one, I'll probably need to move myself here back to a position where you can see the floor here. Let's see. I want to make sure that that doesn't tip. Most likely for my Instagram viewers, sorry, I do not have my setup yet for my tripod. Stay tuned, I'll have a better angle here soon. So I've got some resistance bands, some big loop bands. I've got small loops as well, and some resistance band with handles, but I just wanted to give a quick example. Say for example, I want to do squats. I can trap those under the feet, bring this up over the shoulders. I have created a little bit of extra resistance for my squat, sitting down in that squat, pressing through. For those who want a little bit of an advanced move, if you're really going for it, turn to face the camera. You could also incorporate some shoulders. This is targeting the whole posterior chain, meaning from your tailbone all the way up through the shoulder blades into the low of the neck. That was just a quick example to show how you could really load your entire body. Also, the more muscles that you incorporate into the exercise, the more you're going to get your heart rate going. Just that one quick move, I can already feel my heart going because I'm literally using all these big muscles all the way up and down my back. But the beautiful thing about this is we've got different types. So I believe this is 5 to 15 pounds. This one's 15 to 35. And so on and so forth. Got 3 other ones. These ones are really popular. Zacro is a company. They're sold out both on eBay and Amazon right now. I'm working to see if I can connect with some other distributors so that I can get materials going. But one that I wanted to do real quick was an example of a push-up, how I could really increase my resistance. I really like this one. So you got the band across the back. I chose to pick the black one with my black shirt. Probably not the best for, let me just use this red one here so you guys can see the band. So I've got it across my back. I've got the band underneath my arms, underneath my shoulders. I've got it under my hands, okay? So I've got the band here. And whether I'm on my toes or on my knees, as I'm pushing through that floor with that band across my back, I have a little bit of additional resistance that I'm creating with that push-up, okay? So probably have to start at the bottom of your push-up. That's one example. Just a few more items that you can get online. Bands. I actually got this at Target. This thing is really heavy. I mean, this thing's like at least 50 to 60 pounds of resistance, and it was under 20 bucks. Really good band. Got some lighter bands with handles here. I'm just holding it up so everybody can see it. There's a lot of different options. If you've got Target open, if Walmart is open, you've got band options galore. You could technically get some dumbbells and kettlebells as well. But you just want to remember that isometrics, meaning holding your position where you're feeling the resistance in the muscle on the contraction for about 6 seconds at least, is a very beneficial way to build muscle and then increasing your resistance. One last thing that I'll talk about before I get to the ladies is eccentrics. So in the case of a bicep, change my angle here real fast and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, so in the case of a bicep curl, very common one, this is my concentric movement. When I'm at the top with the dumbbell, there's really not much work taking place. I release and continue. On the release, that is typically where no work takes place. But if I slow the release down, that is, now I'm using the antagonist muscle. In this case, we're addressing the triceps as well as the biceps. Now I'm going down nice and slow. I'm creating what's called an eccentric movement. And studies have shown that about 40%, you can build about 40% more muscle with eccentric exercise or eccentric movement. So I would curl my way up to the top and I would release slowly for anywhere between 3 and 5 seconds. You'll feel the burn. And same could be for a pull-up. Pull myself up to the top and then slowly release for 3 seconds. I was hoping to discuss upper body and specifics. Maybe I'll do this topic again later, but more with the specific types of workouts. What's up, Amanda? How you doing? Welcome to the call. I'll talk about that kind of stuff later, but I just wanted to talk about the general, how do I address not having equipment? I can get into different exercises, or please leave comments. Let me know what you would like to hear. Ryan, how do I do pull-up? If I'm not able to do it a pull-up at all, what are good modifications for a pull-up? Those kind of questions I would be glad to answer. Let me just go ahead and give a note to the ladies. So I hope the ladies are listening in as well as the gentlemen. It was International Women's Day on March 8th, which was also my mom's birthday. So that was pretty cool. International Women's Month. And I wanted to give this special note to the ladies. A lot of ladies are worried about getting bulky when they do resistance training. You have to work pretty hard to get your muscles to build in the first place. One, you got to eat enough, and two, you have to put enough resistance through the muscle groups to have hypertrophy take place, to see the muscles grow. And that's an endeavor. There are certain guys, one of the terms in the industry is called hard gainers, which could be another topic for another day. They struggle. They're skinny guys, high metabolisms, again, another key term there that I won't get into. They struggle to gain mass, and so they really have to work hard at it. Ladies, you do not have the same amount of testosterone that guys do, as we know, generally. So without that amount of testosterone, it's going to be harder for you to build muscle. So I tell my lady clients, I want you to focus on higher reps and lower weight so you can get that nice, long, lean muscle. You're strong, you're lean, but you're not bulky. Now, if you want to continue to grow in strength, that's totally fine. Go to a point until you've hit 3 different areas. This is what I always tell all my lady clients. 1, performance. 2, how do I feel in carrying myself, walking upstairs in my clothes, just throughout my day. And then number 3, how do I look aesthetically? How do I feel in my body from a visual perspective? Performance and visuals I want to keep separate because they can be the same, but I like to kind of pinpoint the two. So that's kind of what I tell ladies. Okay, if you're strength training, I want you to tell me those 3 things. How are those important to you? And go from there. So just want to do that quick special note to the ladies that for you to really build some muscle, you're going to have to work hard. I don't know if there's any studies that say women have to put in more work than men necessarily. In fact, There are some things that I've come across in my studies that would suggest in certain cases ladies have a kind of more of an advantage, but I think that's on another topic entirely. It doesn't have much to do with resistance to what I'm thinking about, but we'll leave it at that. Now, last piece, this is where I close. If anybody's looking for, or excuse me, should you be looking for a class that will help you with weight training like we've discussed, or something that deals with cardio conditioning, I am opening up online classes. I've been teaching for over 3, probably 4 years now, a cardio and conditioning class. A lot of people see this title up here, P90X, and freak out and go, oh, it's that program that no one can finish. I've finished it 4 times. I've known guys who are much more out of shape than me to finish it more times than I have, and I teach the class. I've been teaching the class for 4 years. The class has modifications, and all my clients who take it with me love it. It's one of 4 different classes that I'm offering right now. I've also got HIIT circuit training. I have the cardio and conditioning, as I mentioned, TRX for any folks out there who have TRX trainers, and also stretch classes to help elongate and increase the range of motion throughout the body. Very important, especially if you're spending a lot of time sitting inside right now due to the shutdown, shut-in, social distancing, and all the other terms that have been deemed for us and what we're doing right now. So I want to end there. Feel free to reach out and share with me any questions that you have, any comments. Bobby Rosser, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I am doing my best to keep my work in to be the image of what I provide for my clientele. So thank you so much for that comment. I appreciate it. And yeah, for those who are looking to get a program going, I'm offering over 15 classes, live classes with the option to get to them on demand if you happen to miss them. It's pretty cool. We've got people signing up right now, starting to fill in classes, and we're having fun. We're not letting the situation, as unfortunate as it may be, stop us from making sure our immune systems are nice and strong, and we're keeping ourselves good for each and every day. Quality of life, not necessarily quantity of days. Quantity of days are nice too. So with that, I really appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. This one was a little bit longer of a topic today than previously, but I love to share what I know, and as I learn more, I'll share more as well. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a lovely evening, and we'll talk to you next time. Have a good one. Project Fresh, Ryan Sanders out.